Let's get ready to rumble! Ladies and gentlemen, he's back here by popular demand. And it's been a hot skip in a minute, but I'm going to promise you, as I mentioned at the morning here at the top of the day here, that this is going to be worth it. He's got a lot to say. He's got a lot on his mind. He's kicking off a action-packed, explosive next few days here on Sportswire Radio, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to tune in, hear what he has to say, and more. So let's get right to it. So, further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, pro wrestling star here from Nonstop Action Wrestling. Nonstop, never stop. That is Chris Murphy. The champ is here.
That he is. Thank you again for having me, mate. I really appreciate it. Great talking to you again.
You know, I think I haven't. I don't know if I said this in the first interview, but I just realized with you on and Disciple on, were you guys like separated at birth by any chance? Is there any possibilities? Have you guys kind of got that a little bit? Because I just realized it. I'm like, you know what? I gotta mention this while we're here because Disciple's gonna come on here in about 55 minutes or so, and he's got a lot to say. And I thought about it. You know, you guys are almost the same size. You got almost the same weight, and everything else that you do, and the build. And I was almost like, have you ever heard that comparison at all?
To be fair, we spoke like once or twice. Like, I've seen his work, and he's a very solid guy. Like, solid wrestler, solid work. What I've seen of him, I think he's great. But I feel like it'll be unfair in all the other teams. For example, if me and him actually teamed up and worked together, it'll just be unfair.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you what, I'm chomping at the bits to hear that. Could you imagine Disciple and Chris Murphy teaming up? But, you know, we'll get to that another time here on Sportswire Radio. But, you know, I mentioned that you were a part of Nonstop Action Wrestling. Obviously, we've done a lot of Nonstop Action Wrestling coverage here on Sportswire Radio since you've come on since. And, you know, I was watching Chris. I was watching All Hallows Eve. And I was thinking about it. After we had you on the first time, I would have thought All Hallows Eve, with all the different wrestlers I saw on the show, I even saw big names you're aware of like Sean Only. We saw Calumet Jakester make his debut. And I was kind of wondering, what's going on with Chris Murphy in Nonstop Action Wrestling? Because after we spoke, I would have thought for sure he would have been in the mix of everything. And yet, again, I even went back and watched the show on Instagram, where you can catch it at Nonstop Action Wrestling Instagram page. It is Enso Wrestling UK. And I was like, well, where is Chris Murphy? So I have to ask, for those that are watching and listening, what's going on with Chris Murphy?
Honestly, that's the question, really. Like, I don't know what's happening with that. Like, I don't know why I wasn't invited to the Halloween one. Like, literally, the guy who throws out the most amount of people in that battle royal, the biggest names thrown out. Was it? Faced JPR a few months before that. Only reason he won was because he cheated. And fair play to JPR. He did what needed to be done. And congratulations on his world title win. And I definitely want that as well. That's another shiny I definitely want. But congratulations to him on that. But regarding to Enso, is literally, I do not know why I wasn't invited, because I am the best thing that they have. I am the best guy that they will have. I should be challenging for that title, or even not that title. I should be fighting the best they have to offer, which I'm still waiting for them to throw me their guys. Who's good enough to take me on? Only reason Horace beat me was because he pulled a rope down.
We talked about that.
Literally, yeah, because he couldn't beat me straight up. But literally, I am still waiting for them to give me someone to face, because they know full well if I come back there, I am kicking anyone's ass, because I am better. I am better than everybody there. I will beat every single one of them who are there, who are not there. Any company, I will beat them. Easy.
Well, I'll tell you what, you certainly make a strong case with us here once again on Sportswire Radio. And let me get to a comment or two first. First comment is our friend Michael De Niro Knowles, who was there at All Hallows Eve. And he says, well, hello, gentlemen. Obviously, hello to you, Michael. Thank you, Michael, for tuning in here. And let me get to this comment of somebody that I know is going to be appearing back on Sportswire Radio very soon, and you might know who this individual is, and he's a part of Nonstop Action Wrestling, and his
Ooh,
name is Supersonic Sammy Blue, and he says he was locked in the toilets during All Hallows Eve. Unfortunately, I mean, could the toilets even be big enough to hold you in Swinton there in the Be Strong Performance Center?
I very much doubt that. I mean, if that's what they want to go with, then fine. If I have to knock down that toilet door and also knock down everyone in my way to get in that rain,
You're a
and
big man. I mean, listen, you're a big man. I don't
exactly,
think the screen does you justice here. I really don't think it does you justice.
no, I don't think so either. So we have to see. Like, what's it called? I'm still waiting for them to throw someone at me. But then there again, I will feel sorry for who is actually brave enough to stand up to me, because whoever does is just going to get beat in seconds.
Well, let me ask you a question, though, Kristen. I don't mean to interfere. I don't mean to interject, but I mean, I have Supersonic Sammy Blue on the screen. I mean, would that count him as well as what you just pointed out?
You know what? If I face Sammy, I feel like he'll be there for a rude awakening. The fact he's like, I've seen his matches. I've seen quite a few of them.
They're a very strong wrestler. I mean, I've seen what
Yeah.
he's done to the likes of the Society and some of the matches he's been involved in. Obviously, All Hallows Eve as well. I mean, Sammy can go. There's no question about it.
Oh, no doubt about that. But then going and being good enough to beat me is two difference. Like, you can be good enough at what you're doing, but if you're not good enough to get the job done against the tough opponents, then are you really good enough?
Well, I mean, that's a fair point, and I want to give a shout out to a very good friend of mine who I used to sit with when I had season tickets to the New York Islanders in hockey. That was a very good friend, Jimmy Gorman. And Jimmy, I promise I'll definitely catch up with you one of these days, definitely in the coming weeks and months. I will definitely be out there on Long Island, so I am looking forward to seeing you soon. Jimmy's always been a very, very good friend of mine for a long time, so I hope Jimmy's doing well. So thank you, Jimmy, for tuning in here to Sportswire Radio. Also, Michael says, speaking of NSAW, just booked my ticket for the next event. Let's hope that, you get an invite here. I mean, with Nuclear Winter, I mean, I would hope that, you wouldn't have to go out and buy a ticket, right?
Oh, no, I mean, if anything, I will be there. And if I have to go through whatever security they have on the door to get in the ring, I will go through them. Simple as that. Because
wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think they can have security to hold you. I don't think, considering the way you look and what you've done in the ring, I don't think security could handle you at this point.
Absolutely not. I mean, especially because no one's going to get in the way of what I want. Because for one, I'm going to rip off a line from the boys here, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to swear, but I can do whatever that I want to do.
Yeah, no, I'm well aware of the line, and I certainly can see where you're going from with that, and I could certainly see if you thought Lesnar and Bobby Lashley was explosive on Raw this past Monday, if Chris Murphy doesn't get booked for Nonstop Action Wrestling's Nuclear Winter, I think it literally will be a Nuclear Winter. And Jimmy Gorman gave me a smiley face and some blue and orange hearts. Thank you, Jimmy, for that. Islanders actually playing well, so happy about that as well for those fans on Long Island for the New York Islanders. They're certainly on a very strong start so far. Want to give a shout out to somebody that I think might have a say or two when it comes to things in Nonstop Action Wrestling. That is MX Knights, and he says, "The Irish Wonder, how quaint. I look forward to seeing your grand return." Let me ask you this question on that. And obviously we have MX Knights, and he's been a big part of things in Nonstop Action Wrestling. I'm sure you've seen with the Society and stuff. And, I mean, what do you make of, let's say, the Society and sort of their kind of, I guess, newest member, Callum Jakester? We saw what happened with the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and Tommy Dillon there. I'm sure we'll speak about Tommy Dillon in a few minutes. But, I mean, what do you make of the whole Society with Remus Kane as well? And how do you fit into that, or what do you think of it?
Do you know what? I actually like the Society.
Oh, you do? Really?
It's gonna sound really weird. I actually like them.
Really? I would never have guessed. Go ahead, tell us why.
I like them because they literally try to get whatever they want. They're not afraid to go after whoever they want, and the fact is they're recruiting more and more members to get what they want. I can't fault it because I would do the exact same thing. But the problem is, though, with me, I don't need backup.
Yeah, you don't seem like a guy that would kind of almost want to be with the group. You seem like you're kind of a guy that, like, if you don't get what you want, you're gonna basically just beat the hell out of somebody.
Exactly that. But other than that, though, I do like what the society are doing. Like, I think their guys are very good. Like, Remus Kane does terrify me a bit. I got to say, though, that new guy, I've not seen enough of him yet, but I do look forward to seeing him.
Yep, Callum Jakes, who was in the ring with Sean Only and Billy O'Keefe, who's the Blackheart Wrestling champion. They were Long
Yes,
Hollow.
that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, so fair play to him. He's got new into the group. It seems like he's settling in quite well. But I'll just be interested to see what they do. Like, if there's going to be any tension. Like, bear in mind, Tommy Dillon still there. He still has the title. Would one of them turn their back on the other to get what they want? Like, for example, Remus Kane.
I don't know. I got to be honest, from what I've seen, and we had Callum on last week on Sportswire Radio, I feel like that they're more deadlier, they're more dangerous than they've ever been before. I mean, certainly they've changed members and they seem like they're more volatile, more deadly. I mean, that's saying a lot because they were deadly to begin with. So I mean, those are some interesting points. Obviously, we'll see what happens here. I also want to give a shout out to Dylan here, who's been with us a number of different times, says the Irish will take over the UK wrestling world starting with Enzo. And I'm going to get to that, obviously, with the Irish because there is a championship that Joshua Snow has put out there that I do want to get your thoughts on. And I want to come back also to a few other comments. First, I want to go back to Supersonic Sandy Bloom. He says, well, there is a new championship around at Enzo. We'll have to see if we meet on the way to that title. I'm going to get to that in a second. Sammy certainly 50s. And I also want to get here, and I would be interested to see Chris Murphy at Nuclear Winter. Anyone want to take the challenge? I mean, would you want to respond to what Michael had to say before I get to the next comment, which might actually kind of tie into that? Is there anything that you want to add toward Michael Knowles' comment? Because he's going to be there, obviously, on December the 17th.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love to be there. And the fact is, if they want me there, they got my number. And two, they got to give me a good interest and offer to take. Because I'm not being fan of it. Like, as you said, there's a new title. I could go after the main one. Has he got has Tommy Dillon got a challenge yet? Or is he going to run and hide? Or is there anyone else that just wants to step up for a fight? Because if it's just a stand-up fight, then fair enough. Give me someone worthy enough to fight me for anything. Just title, non-title, just to stand up to me, really. Someone's going to last longer than 5 minutes. Because not many of them will. As we saw that with the Rumble, with that Battle Royal, the previous one.
Yep, a couple of months back, yep.
Exactly. Even their biggest guys couldn't stay in the ring with me.
Well, I mean, let me ask you then this question before I get to the next two comments, because you're going to definitely want to pay attention to those comments, but I want to give a little bit of a tease here while we're on Sportswire Radio here with pro wrestling star Chris Murphy. You can follow on Instagram and Facebook, and certainly we're very, very excited to have Chris's triumphant return back with us here on Sportswire Radio. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and I am the station manager here of Sportswire Radio. But I mean, do you prefer to be in the ring with multiple people at once? Do you prefer to be in the ring one-on-one? Is there anything that you're opposed to or anything you specifically want before I get to the next comments here by an individual that I think you're going to want to see? I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, with that, I'm not really bothered about numbers. If there's numbers, there's more victims. I've been in tag teams for People's Republic of Wrestling, where I'm still currently one half of the tag team champions.
Yep, we spoke about that.
Exactly. And then also I won the British Counties Championship in a company called BECW, where the only reason I lost the championship was because I've recently had shoulder surgery. So
we talked about that, I believe, the first time you came on.
Exactly. So the thing is, I haven't lost the title in the last few years. Only reason I had to drop one is because of injury. So, one, I've still got one. Two, I had to vacate. So, if it was any sort of match for any sort of championship, easy, they are not getting it back. I'm sorry. Like, I'll come up there, take whatever I want, go back home, come back, and still have the same strap around my waist. And no matter how many people are there, it could be a triple threat, four-way, rumble, any. And been my fair share of hardcore matches, tables, ladders, and chairs matches, ladder matches, even a strap match, which was very difficult. But
I think they all sound very difficult. Listen, I mean, we just had on a wrestler on Monday, Craven Rage, who was in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, and he started the match basically outside, and then he ended the match basically it was like pitch dark. I mean, I can only imagine wrestling and not being able to see. And on top of that, the guy wears a mask. I mean, so
oh,
I can only imagine. So what you do and what he does, I certainly know that I wouldn't want to be a part of that. But I do have some comments for you that, as I've teased, that I'd like to be able to get to. And that is, of course, one of them here is from the Super Dad, the Patriarch here. That is, of course, Champ Rogers, the new look, I guess maybe new and improved Champ Rogers. I guess the CM Punk like Champ Rogers. He says, as acting co-general manager, I am sure there's a Rumble spot with your name on it. And on top of that, let me get to the follow-up comment. Win that, get a shot at the World Class Championship at Zenith in April. The opportunity is in your hands, Murphy. Now, Champ Rogers has responded. Chris Murphy, let me get your take.
you know what? Put me wherever, I'll outlast all of them, and I won that title shot. I'm sorry, but you know where I am. You know I'm up for it. And just pre-warning, you may want to apologize to all the other guys in that Rumble, because they're not going to be walking home straight afterwards. Maybe having to go to the ER. Who knows? Get on my bad side. You're going to get broken. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll certainly see and find out. Certainly strong words here again from Chris Murphy. Again, certainly he's made his case, but Supersonic Sammy Blue has responded. He says, I already got your number for you, Chris. Don't worry. It's 24.
To be fair, you put me at number one, I'll still be there at the end with my hands held high.
Whoa. Would you want to be number one? I don't think anybody would want to be number one in the Rumble. So I know you're a big man. I know you've got championship gold experience. You're still holding gold. But I still wouldn't want to hold that number one spot. I mean, I know it's been done before in Rumbles, but I still would want to go as long as possible until I have to enter, no?
True, but there again, you enter number one, it's 1v1. You throw the first guy out, next one comes in. Throw him out, it's just repeat. If you're coming in at 24, there could be loads of people all in there at once. I'd rather knock them all out one by one to prove that I am the best guy they have there who can beat every single person in that Rumble, on that roster. I can prove that I can beat literally everybody there, which has been proven. Throwing the toughest guys out.
I'll tell you what. I mean, those are certainly some fair points, and the Supersonic Sammy Blue points out minus 24. I guess would that be 20? Oh, minus 24. He says I think I read it wrong. So obviously, I read it wrong. But let me get to Michael Knowles here. He says, if you think about it, if you go in at number one and win, that makes you great. People have done it, like you said. I mean, any thoughts on that?
I absolutely agree. Bear in mind, I am already great. So the fact is, I need that clarification so people don't doubt me ever again.
You know, that's a great point, and I actually want to follow up with that, and I want to interject for a second because, you know, a lot of these wrestlers in nonstop action wrestling, and I've made this point with Disciple, who's going to come on here in a little while. Obviously, we'll get his first words from since he's won the GTM championship from Gareth Angel, and you know, a lot of the wrestlers, and no disrespect to them, that are in nonstop action wrestling, right? They're making their way, right? They're kind of finding their way, as Geddy Lee of Rush famously sang. They're finding their way. They're new. They're almost new kids on the block, right? But you, on the other hand, have been a pro. You've been a veteran. You've held gold. You've done all these different things. So in a way, I mean, shouldn't you have or feel in your perspective that you have the upper hand? Because A, you've held the gold, you've been a world champion, you still hold gold, nobody's forcefully taken a title from you, you've been in main events, you've done all these different things. Where a lot of these guys, like a Sammy Blue, or even a Champ Rogers, Connor Cage, Dante O'Cara, or even members of the society, they don't have the resume that you have. So at the end of the day, shouldn't you just automatically feel like confident no matter the situation?
Oh, that's the thing. I'm always confident. I know every match I go into, I'm gonna win. Like end of the day, sometimes the result may not go your way, but I walk into it knowing I'm gonna win. So if someone gets my way, I'm gonna have to kick them or punch them or drop them on their face. So end of the day, I'm going out swinging no matter what. If I lose, then they must be good enough to stand up to me. But not many can. So we have to wait and see. Because Sammy Blue keeps saying a lot, though. Like, I would be interested facing him and maybe silencing him a bit and making that smile go the opposite way. Maybe maybe like break a few fingers, maybe knock out a few teeth. So
Boy, that sounds like pretty violent. I mean, I guess maybe you're taking a page or two out of Disciples' playbook after what he did to Gareth Angel. I mean, but boy, that sounds like if possible, maybe I should just forfeit the match. Maybe just not show up. Is that what you're telling Supersonic Sammy Blue, more or less?
I mean, absolutely. Like, if me and him have to face each other, then I would recommend running for the hills, not get involved. But if you want to stand up and if you want to prove yourself, and if you can beat me fair and square, then I'll hold my hand out and shake your hand like a man. But
wow, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, really, really strong words. That, I did tease that this was going to be an explosive Sportswire radio today. Well, it's definitely proving that and some here, because I've already heard broken teeth, I've heard broken hands, I've heard all these different things here. That is why we are here with pro wrestling star Chris Murphy, and you can follow Chris on Instagram at the Chris Murphy One. Also, make sure you like his page on Facebook. Certainly, Chris is always out and about doing big things, and he has definitely made his return impactful and some. I mean, I know it had been a while. We were kind of working on getting Chris on, but certainly he has made it certainly well worth the wait here on Sportswire Radio. And let me get to some more comments here. And MX Knight says, being an industry veteran does not make you unbeatable. The worst thing you can do is underestimate your opponent. I thought you were smarter than this pure arrogance. Any thought on that? That's an interesting point.
Arrogance or belief? I believe I'm the best. I know I'm the best. Like, arrogance has got nothing to it. Like, arrogance is when you go into a match thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. I know it's going to be easy. There's a difference between arrogance and knowing. And plus, I'm not an idiot. I won't fall for any tricks. I won't underestimate someone. I'll look at every person the same, and I'll still beat them. That's the thing. I get what you're saying, though. He's absolutely right. There is a difference. But with me, nah, I don't underestimate people. That's what makes me more dangerous than any other guy in that company, because I can tell the difference between underestimating. That's the thing. See, I don't underestimate people. I'll just go in there, do my thing, knock them out, and I'll win.
All right. Well, I certainly think that that's some fair points. Let me, though, get to Champ Rogers, because he has something that you might want to hear. So let me get to this comment. My tag partner, Sammy, has given me an idea. Here's a spoiler. Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage will face off. Winner chooses their spot. Loser gets the number one spot. The glory of number one will be spoken for, but I think you'd suit the number two entry spot. Would you care to respond to what co-GM Champ Rogers has to say?
I am more than ready for the number two spot, but just know, after this match, I'll be the number one contender. So you can take away that two and put the one in front of it. So I'll be the number one contender, and then I'll be the champion next show. Simple as that. So you guys are booking yourself into a corner right now, having me on, realizing that I'm going to take that title home with me. I'm not going to put it in the fridge. I'm not CM Punk. It'll be next to my Funko Pops for sure.
Well, speaking of that very quickly, before I get to a bunch of comments, because I do have a ton of comments, I mean, I've noticed that the collection's gotten a little bigger since we last spoke.
It has. I mean, there's even more on this side as well.
Wow. Is there anything that you're missing or anything that you'd like to get before we get to some more comments? Anything out there? Any holiday, Christmas wish list or Hanukkah wish list, Kwanzaa wish list, whatever else is out there holiday-wise for people?
Oh, probably some more of The Boys, I think. Like, I've recently just finished watching season 3 of The Boys, and oh my God,
okay.
I need a new season now, literally.
Wow, okay.
It's so good. Have you seen it?
I have not, but I have told people that the last 7 or 8 weeks, I took a job remote in California. I'm on California time, And like my life, the last like 6 or 7 weeks has been like just squeezing in whatever interviews I can get, keep up on wrestling and
Yeah,
sports in America, just to do my American shows, and everything else has been totally zapped. But in the next week, my schedule is supposed to be a little down for a while, so that might be something I might actually take you up on and try to catch up and
absolutely.
watch. So that's
It's like Amazon Prime, and it's literally it
okay.
starts off very slow, but it builds up and up and up.
Okay.
It's about an hour episode, 8 episodes a season. I would highly recommend it.
All
So if
right, so
anyone's
I might give it a shot. The other thing on my bucket list is to get my AMC movie pass back here in America, so I can go back to the movies. I used to be a big movie buff. In fact, I used to, in another life, review movies, but that's for a different time, different discussion. But let me get to some more comments because people want to talk to you.
yep,
Supersonic Sammy Blue says, "I'm so smart sometimes putting young Connor and Boorman against each other." So Boorman and Connor, I don't know if I'd call him the Boorman, but that's for another time of the place. That would be an interesting match. I've seen Sammy up close. Sammy can definitely go. We're going to get Sammy here back on Sportswire very soon. Sammy gives an emoji. Dylan also says the Irish don't run from a fight. We stand toe-to-toe with anyone, and we fight till our last breath. That is certainly a valid point, and I do
exactly.
have Irish in my blood, so I might have to agree. Although I don't have Chris Murphy's size, strength, and abilities, but hey, that's here nor there. Whether it be Nuclear Winter before that or after that, Sammy Blue versus Chris Murphy would be something I'd pay to see. If I could clone myself and watch, of course. I mean, you think that after hearing that, champ, that maybe is Chris Murphy here? Is Sammy Blue trying to maybe either get under your skin or goat you into something? You think that in a way anyway?
I think he's trying to, but I think he's going to regret that decision because you know what? I might have a trip planned to go up to Ensource very, very, very soon. So, Sammy, I know you know where the venue is, and I'll tell you the date I'm going to be there, which will be the 26th of November.
Now, if I do my math correctly, and I know I'm not very good at math, that sounds like, champ, about 3 weekends from now. It's not too far away. It's right after here Thanksgiving in America, so that's 3 weekends from now.
Exactly that. So, Sammy, I hear a lot of talk. Well, I can see a lot of talk. If you want to watch the match, you can. Like, I'll just knock you that crate. I'll just knock you that loopy. It'll be like an out of body experience. So you'll be able to watch yourself getting beaten up and thrown around.
Sounds like out of sight, out of mind, just maybe. And Champ Rogers says, consider it done. For your sake, I hope your self-confidence isn't misplaced. Any thought there?
Never misplaced for me. Like I said, as previous comments was mentioned, we're Irish. We fight till the last breath. And if I've got to go through 29 other people for that Rumble, and then if I need to knock some sense into Sammy beforehand, by all means, it sounds like a plan to me.
Well,
And,
all right. You sure? Now, you sure? You still feel the same way? Just want to make sure, because there's people out here that they're definitely ready to pounce on your comments. You feel the same way?
bring it on. Like us Irish take them all on. Like we're not here just to take part. We're here to take over. Sorry, Conor McGregor reference there, but it's true.
Interesting points here. And certainly, again, we are on Sportswire Radio here, an explosive start here to the show. And I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager of Sportswire Radio. And if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, I hope that you continue to give us a like on Facebook, because we are now close to 500 followers. So I thank everybody for that. We're thinking 491 or 92 followers now. So thank you for your support. If you also like what you hear from us from a radio standpoint, you can catch us anytime at sportnarium.com/player, where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, we play content from all over the world, whether it's music, sports, talk, you name it. We play it, and I format it, so please check us out there. And also, in about 25 to 30 minutes or so from now, we will have on Disciple, his first words, since he has won the GT Ministries World Championship. We also have a couple of announcements in that spot with Disciple, so I hope that you tune and stay with us here. But in the meantime, continue to stay with us here because Chris Murphy has certainly made his return to Sportswire Radio worthwhile and some. And let's get to some more comments here, Chris. And Mr. Murphy, my favorite redhead here. Lawman Calkins, Mr. Sportswire himself. I mean, anything you'd like to say to him before I get to some more comments?
Just like to say congratulations on winning the title. And then I feel like next time you'll have Tommy Dillon beat properly. Like, you did a very, very good job there, to be honest, mate. Like, did not expect that whatsoever. So congratulations. But just know that's a relief you haven't got it anymore because now the target's not on your back anymore. It was for that brief moment. But for now, let's keep that target off your back because I quite like you.
Well, let me ask you a question on the Lawman Calkins because he always comes up here. We have him on Sportswire Radio quite a bit. You know that he'll be back certainly prior to all nuclear winter and such and everything else with the company. But I mean, how would you feel if you had won the world title? I know that he's not the champion currently, but I mean, he was still a world champion. I mean, very, very successful there. I mean, how would you feel about you've been a champion, you're currently a champion, but in the place of the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, how would you have felt about the situation itself with Tommy Dillon?
Easy. I mean, I do feel bad for him, but in that situation, if that was me, I wouldn't give him a reason to win the title back. Like, simple as that. One thing is, I don't need other people there by my side. I would have just knocked him out, straight out cold, and won the title. No second guessing, no conspiracy, no nothing along the sides. Just plain simple, I would have beat Tommy Dillon straight up, taken that title back, and it would have been all mine.
Is that where your experience as a champion, as more of a ring veteran than him would have came into place? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, because bear in mind, the more people you get involved, the more it becomes meh. Like, literally, too many people, something can go wrong. For example, if it's a singles match, someone has to grab a leg, can play up, someone can distract you, someone's talking in your ear. Nah. My advice for you, Kyle Kennedy, maybe try go by yourself.
Ooh,
you've already proven you can win that title. Why not go all the way?
Ooh. I haven't. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's the way it's going, but I mean, certainly you give him some thoughts to ponder. I'll obviously let the lawman respond to that. And Supersonic Sammy Blue says he made me a signed Sammy Blue Pop vinyl at All Hallows Eve. Glad to see you didn't sell it on eBay. Callum Jakester has responded. You say the target would be on his back as if he'd actually be concerned. Oh, so it's the society's fault he lost? Is that what you're saying? That is that what you are saying?
I'm saying it could be that, or it could be many reasons. But having too many people there does play a factor. Why do you think every title win, other than one tag title, the rest have all been by myself? I've never had backup. I've never had anyone there in the corner. I've won them all by myself. So the only backup I had was a tag title match, or a tag title. And the first time we challenged for them, we lost. Because I helped my partner do a finish, literally jump off my shoulders. Turn around from being distracted through that, hit in the face of a chain. And that was at People's Republic of Pro Wrestling. So, proven. Other people can cost you. Because if I didn't do that, I could have just won.
All right. I mean, certainly that's for a discussion, I'm sure, that we can continue to have. And thank you, and don't worry, next time my reign shall be never-ending. Ain't done with that title, nor Thomas Dilly Dally, which I think a lot of people still aren't too impressed with the wild card Tommy Dillon and his run as NSAW champion, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more takes on that here over the coming days and weeks. And I wanted to ask you just very quickly here, maybe even give you a few thoughts before we go back into nonstop action wrestling. I was kind of wondering here, Chris Murphy, I mean, is there any other wrestling companies out there that you may be a part of, or anybody else that you might be interested in wrestling in? Because I understand that there's a couple of companies that we might be seeing you here very soon.
Yes. So I know for one, in December, on the 3rd of December, I'll be in the Rumble for British Heritage Wrestling (BHW).
Yep, sure.
So I'll be going there, and that's in Wallington, just down the road from Croydon.
Okay.
Not wrestled for them before, but there are some really great guys there. Some guys who are doing very well. I know a couple. I know one or two. I'm not sure if he's on the show or not, but I know a couple of guys who've been on their shows have wrestled for the likes of Progress.
Oh, I know Progress, of course. Who doesn't know
Yeah,
Progress? We had a guy on that a couple of times, actually, more than a few times, that was actually on Progress in 2-Bit. 2-Bit, actually, who's been a part of the LWF, Kingdom of Wrestling, also Synergy. The Synergy boys have been a part of Progress, and they're the current LWF Tag Team Champions. So I'm very, very familiar with Progress and some people that have been on this show that have been there.
Yeah, exactly. So one of them is Alexander Roth. He's recently been on Progress. Like he had I can't remember if it's a triple threat or 4-way, but on one of the most recent ones, which is on the WWE Network, if anyone wants to watch it,
Yep.
check out Alexander Roth. He is brilliant. Literally, when he first started, undefeated streak lasted for about 2-3 years.
So you're telling me it was a longer streak than Kyle Kennedy's?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that would be a match I'd love to see. Alexander Roth versus Kyle Kennedy, but Roth is a different animal. That's why they call him the Wolf of Broad Street, and that's why he's the king of the multiverse now. And BHW have also had OJMO, Michael Ockel. I couldn't remember.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, and as one of my good friends, Kieran Corrupt, will tell you, he calls him Orange Juice Overlord. I've got no idea where that reference is from, but okay.
All right. Well, I think that's interesting. So we'll see you there in some of those companies. And I had to ask before I get to some of the society guys. I mean, I was just curious on your thoughts on this. And I don't even know if I should ask this, but I'll ask it to you because you know what? What the hell at this point? What are they going to do to me, right? So there's a company that we've done some work with, and there's some kind of crossover a little bit with Nonstop Action Wrestling called Wrestling Appreciation Society. It's called Was otherwise. And they're obviously run by an individual named Travis Cox. And there's been, some other wrestlers that have been on Sportswire. They're going to be appearing there. Obviously, Kyle Kennedy's going to be facing off with Donnie Franchise. Tommy Dillon's going to face off with Matt Royale, and Connor Cage is a part of it. Dan Robertson. I was wondering, you have any plans on April the 29th, 2023, Chris Murphy, or anything else going on?
Yes, I've got plans that day, actually. I'm actually planning on being there.
Oh, really? Now, are you going there as a fan? Are you going there as a security guard? Are you going there as...
No. I am in there, I think it's a Rumble, I believe. So, again, they want to throw more and more victims at me. So, again, I don't really think that's a smart idea. Like, putting more people in my way is just going to get me more and more annoyed that someone's going to try and hit me, and I'll just hit him back harder. So, it's their downfall. They want to put me in front of a few other guys. That's not going to end well for them.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've heard a bombshell is that Chris Murphy, pro wrestling star, is going to be appearing at Wrestling Appreciation Society's debut show here, which will take place on August the 29th, 2023. It is called Deadline, and certainly it is going to be a deadline for when it comes to the Rumble and maybe the wrestlers that are going to be in the ring standing across from Chris Murphy. That is WrestleSociety.hut on Instagram, Wrestling Appreciation Society on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube for more information. So April the 29th, there you have it here on Sportswire Radio. And let me get to some comments here. And Callum Jakes says Tommy Dillon won the championship back because he's a sore loser who can't stand the fact that he lost, and the rest of the NSOR doesn't like when we do what we do. So really the reason Kennedy lost was because everyone else stuck their noses where they don't belong, not because of the society. Easy there, Christopher. The society doesn't run alone. That's all now. Don't keep bad-mouthing because we may not take it lightly next time, Sunshine. He also agrees with what Callum had to say. What are they going to do to me, Tom? Please. I like you. Don't shake cage when the Bears are already rabid. So take it easy, Mr. Bryce. It's not just a warning. My brothers are watching. So for you then, are you concerned? There is some points that look, the society, they've definitely had the numbers. They've definitely had the strength. and you still feel the way you feel. I mean, even other wrestlers have said, you still feel the same way. We want to make sure. I just want to make sure here.
I've got no regrets of what I say. Like, end
Okay.
of the day, I'm a very honest person, and Kyle Kennedy, I am giving you my honest advice. Yes, the society are doing really well, but know when the right time to leave them is. Look
But
around you
wouldn't
and
you
stay
say
too
though?
long.
But there is a point, and again, I'm going to try to be objective here and try to
Mm-hmm.
figure out from both sides. Wouldn't there be a point though that Kyle Kennedy, since he's joined this society, right? We've seen him in other places. We've seen him toe to toe with Gareth Angel. We saw him booked, although unfortunately he wasn't able to be a part of it, but he was booked in a main event in a world title in CCW. Blackheart Wrestling, we've seen him a part of different things. I mean, we've seen Callum Majakes now all of a sudden jumpstart his career a little bit. Remus Kane, MX Knights. I mean, wouldn't it be fair to say though, that the society and those members, they've had a lot of success in getting their names out there, though? Isn't that what you're supposed to do in wrestling?
Oh, absolutely. But then you can only be with the same group for so long.
Ah,
And
okay.
what I mean by that is keep going until the time is right. And when the time's right, you gotta cut that cord. And
All right.
you gotta know when to go.
All right, well, we'll certainly see if that's the case. But in the meantime, I hope that you continue to follow and like Nonstop Action Wrestling on Instagram, NSAW Wrestling UK, NSAW underscore Res UK on Twitter as well, Nonstop Action Wrestling also on Facebook, YouTube, Nonstop Action Wrestling Universe group as well on Facebook. Continue to follow the company for all the great things that it does, whether it's Asylum, whether it's great shows like All Hallows Eve, Nuclear Winter, Fire and Gold, Zenith, we heard April. So we know that certainly Nonstop Action Wrestling, it is nonstop, never stop. And I have some more comments because people want to talk to you. That's pretty much what I've learned here. Anything happens at NSAW, this Irish boy's got your back. All right, so that's
Love
certainly
that.
Keelan's got you. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's from Callum. Touche, maybe. Supersonic Sammy Blue says, "You know where the door is, Kyle. In front of you. Leave My Chemical Romance or whatever they're called." Yeah, I didn't even know My Chemical Romance was still a thing. I didn't even realize that they were still out and about. But
Yeah,
hey,
apparently they are. Like, I've known a few people that go to their concerts, and I didn't
okay.
know.
Yeah, I never
I knew a
really
few of
got
their
into my.
songs.
I mean, no disrespect to any My Chemical Romance fan, but I just never got into them. It's never my thing really.
No,
But
I
hey,
like two songs, and that's it.
okay.
Was it the Black Parade and Teenagers? I think
I remember
those are two.
teenagers. I remember teenagers, but
Yeah, it's like other than that, I've got no clue. You can
you
tell me
just
any
couldn't.
names.
No disrespect to anybody here, but you couldn't catch me dead with a My Chemical Romance song. Well, hey, that's just me. But Lawman Kyle Kennedy says we got rid of the redwood. Sorry, deadwood, and now we're stronger. We're more dangerous. Majakester, Kennedy, Kane, Knights. We're going wherever. I tell you what, that's the point that they made on Sportswire Radio last week, and there is a valid point. Dylan Kidd, you got to get your ass to training before trying to jump in with Chris Murphy. So hush. That is a fair point. You do
Mm-hmm.
have to be out there and train. Certainly, we know that Donnie Franchise is definitely finding that out, and he's finding out the hard way that he's going to have to get out there and train. And certainly, the lawman Kyle Kennedy and the society do have the numbers game, and we'll see. But in the meantime, certainly Chris Murphy, I think, may have his hands full with other things. We'll certainly see, though. I wanted to ask you one more thing very quickly on Nonstop Action Wrestling and the Northern Division Championship, though. I mean, wouldn't that be a focus of yours? Wouldn't that be something I would almost think you'd be interested in? Or, I mean, you're Irish, the heritage of that title and what Joshua Snow has done, or what do you think there?
Do you know what? That is something I heard about a little while back. They'll bring that in, and you know what? I really want it because
Mm-hmm.
I think it would look nice with two titles around my waist. And the fact is, if I have it, they're not getting it back. Like, I'm sorry, but they will not be getting that back. Like, I don't plan to get injured. I don't plan to drop my game. I plan to hold on to that title. But the thing is, it's easier saying that than actually doing it because a lot of people say that but then lose. But there's always a plan B. And
I heard that from Disciple 2 weeks. He said it was all about the plan. The plan's coming into place. So you're telling me that you have a plan. There's a plan B. Okay, if you're saying that, I'm going to take your word for it.
I mean, as I said earlier, if I got to go through everybody in that locker room to get what I want, then that's what I need to do. It may maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but there will be some day where I'll get what I want.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You certainly are very confident. I will certainly say that you remind me of somebody that's on our shows in America. His name is the brute force Brad Weiss. Looks a little bit like you, actually, in a way. Also, another guy looks like you, and he talks about confidence all the time. He's always talking about being confident and confidence, and he was a college basketball player who had a lot of success. So you know what? Maybe he was onto something. Maybe you're onto something. I don't know. What do I know, right? But Ellen Jakester says, Sammy, shut your mouth, you mug. Okay, let's mess up. I wanted to ask you something for fun before I get to some closing thoughts with you. In about 10 or so minutes from now, we'll have Disciple on his first words since he has won the GT Ministries World Championship from Gareth Angel. So definitely, please stay tuned for that. I promise you are not going to want to miss that. But I mean, I saw that you were at some cosplay conventions, some Comic-Con stuff, and anything you want to share about that? Because again, you're very big in that world. I mean, you're just as big in that world as you are in the rest of the world. Anything fun you want to share about that?
Yeah, to be honest, I've recently got back. On Monday, I traveled home from London from the MCM Comic Con. Oh my god! Literally, if you guys want a great time and to spend way too much money, go to a Comic Con because everyone there loves the same sort of things you do. We all support each other. Everyone's dressed up, so you won't feel left out. Everybody there is just so welcoming. And the fact is as well, me and a friend of mine, me and a few friends of mine, we were at Narcon in Sweden.
Okay.
Which is basically like Comic-Con, but done very, very differently, where they make everybody there give them the attention, made them feel famous. They give you like a couple of seconds on stage. They can like have other people do panels. They have like crazy amount of stuff there, which I think was unbelievable. Probably the best con I've ever went to in my life. Like everything there was amazing, and I wasn't the only ginger as well, so I was very happy about that.
What's the travel like to Sweden?
Quite easy, to be fair. Like, because thankfully we went with Norwegian Air, and it was only 2 hours to 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it's very quick. Like, it's about the same distance as if I'm going to Ensor, where it'll just be that long on the train, just a little bit longer.
Wow, I would never have guessed that the distance to Sweden would be the same as to the Be Strong Performance Center there in Sweden. Wow,
yeah, because it's about 2.5 hours roughly for me to get there, maybe a little bit longer. But to Sweden, excluding all the stuff at airports, you know what it's all like. It's so much. So other than that, but yeah, so just the actual flight is about 2.5 hours. So it's about roughly the same sort of length of travel. Which is great. So it's definitely worth doing. I would recommend it to anyone wanting to do cosplay. Look into doing stuff like that because it's so much fun. Honestly, like it's unbelievable. Like,
do you get? I know it's obviously two different worlds, but do people ask you in that world about your wrestling career and stuff like that? Do people ask you at all about that?
Sometimes they say, "Oh, what do you do other than this?" And then I say, "Oh, I'm a professional wrestler," and automatically people just be like, "Really?" Like, "Oh, yeah, I can see that," but then they're like, "Doesn't that hurt?" It's like, "Yeah, I can give you name a body part, and I'll tell you what's not injured."
That's true. That's certainly true. So that's interesting. I just thought that was kind of an interesting question to ask you here. Sammy Blue says, "Give me what I want, Batista, aka Chris Murphy." Okay, all right. Michael Noel says, "If it makes you feel better, I am a natural born ginger." Okay, I didn't know.
Welcome, brother.
That's cool. That's cool. You get a plane to Ensaw. Boy, Supersonic Sammy Blue is throwing the jabs left and right. He's going at you there. You're getting it from all ends. But before I get to closing thoughts, I wanted to ask you, because I've heard all this stuff about Nonstop Action Wrestling. We've talked about the different things, and we had him on a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of curious because, again, we haven't heard from you in Nonstop Action Wrestling in quite a while here. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you might want to say, let's say, to the chairman of the company and Joshua Snow? Anything you might want to say to him that he might want to maybe, I don't know, take notice on?
Well, The fact is, at the last show, I came out, did my entrance, and I was shouting, "Why am I not on this poster? Since I am the best guy here, I should be the main talking point. I should be the main guy advertised." And the fact I'm still not. Really, really. I mean, the fact is, I've come in. Every person you put in front of me, the last two people I've faced, both had to cheat to beat me. So that's the thing. Give me someone who can stand up straight and fight fair, and then I'll prove to you why I am the best guy you have there, and why I should be the guy on every single poster that you guys do, and holding all the gold. But there again, you won't get it back. So
you're telling us then that once you get the gold, you ain't giving it up, just like in some other companies where you're still currently a champion, or in another company's case, you had to vacate a title because of an injury, which you probably still would be holding that title as well.
exactly that. I would still be champion because I know for a fact the guys who fought for my championship at that show I had to vacate it, I would have beaten them both quite easily. So that's the thing. Give me a title shot, you know the result. Give me an opponent, you know the result. Sammy Blue, if you want to step up, I'll see you soon.
As famously they said in the John Wick movies, be seeing you real soon. It sounds like that very well could be the case with Chris Murphy and Supersonic Sammy Blue. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a feeling that Chris Murphy is going to be somebody that we're going to be seeing a lot of here, whether it's in places like Nonstop Action Wrestling or some other places in BHW and maybe even Wrestling Appreciation, which we also broke the news of that April 29th deadline. The Rumble itself, we're going to see Chris Murphy, and he is not coming just for the ticket. He's coming to perform, and I would think he's one of those guys that could very well win that Rumble, and I look forward to continuing having more coverage here of Nonstop Action Wrestling and Wrestling Appreciation Society in the near and distant future. So I'm going to ask you this last question here before I get to closing thoughts, champion. Is there anything that you want to say in particular to anybody in the back in Nonstop Action Wrestling, or anybody else here that's on the stream, or co-general manager Champ Rogers, or anyone else that maybe we've missed? Anybody that you want to address specifically when it comes to Nonstop Action Wrestling?
I can say so much about Tommy Dillon right now.
Yeah, what would you like to say about him? Because obviously he's the champion that, listen, Dan Robertson said basically called him grandpa, that his title run's going to expire at the end of the year. I mean, obviously Kyle Kennedy took the title from him away from a period of time, I guess you might want to say. And, it seems like everybody else seems to be skeptical of him as champion. So, I mean, I guess you might as well join into that, I guess.
Oh, I'm not skeptical of him as champion. I just know what I said when he previously spoke to you. I remember I jumped in with a few comments.
Yep, I remember it.
Looks like they may have played a factor on him because he clearly let the pressure get to him and lost the title. So that's the thing. Tommy, you're easily beatable, mate. Like I said, I'm willing to fight you. I'm willing to fight anyone. So maybe not let the pressure get to you too much anymore, because it's proven a few words play on your mind, and then that makes you lose.
So you say then that he's got a target on his back that he's not going to be able to keep up with. That's what you basically tell me.
Exactly that. Like, if he can keep up, great. If not, well, if not, he's already proven that he can't do it. So the last title defense, he lost to Kyle Kennedy. Don't get me wrong, Kyle Kennedy is a great fighter and a very, very good wrestler. But if he didn't feel the pressure, I think Tommy Dillon would have won that match.
All right. Certainly fair points here. And before I get to closing thoughts here, Tommy lost it once. He can lose it again, but this time he won't get it back. I'll tell you what, he's got a big target on his back, and we'll certainly find out from another champion here in a couple of minutes. Disciple, we're just a few minutes away from the champion, so he is in the back. He is here waiting to be on, so we're excited about that. So Chris, I'm going to give you the floor. Then I'm going to give you some closing thoughts and certainly anything else you want to share, say with us. And certainly you have definitely made a return worthwhile and some. I'm looking forward to having you on a lot shorter than the first time we had you on. So we're definitely excited as always to have you. I think we certainly covered the gauntlet as always. So I turn it over to you, my friend. Anything you want to plug, share, say with us. And the floor is yours. And fire away, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much again. And thank you very much for having me, and everyone who jumped in and asked me questions. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Apart from Sammy Blue, I'm coming for you. But I would like to shout out my TikTok, _Chris_Murphy1, Instagram, _Chris_Murphy1, YouTube, _Chris_Murphy1 again. And then my wrestling page on Facebook is Chris Murphy Wrestler. But yeah, so guys, thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoy the next interview. And again, Tom, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate
Absolutely, and I noticed it's the Chris Murphy one. You kept it just once. There's one Chris Murphy only. Actually, that's actually a good way to do about it. So certainly, everybody check him out on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. You check it out. And we were here on Sportswire Radio with pro wrestling star Chris Murphy, who was announced he will be a part of Wrestling Appreciation Society's Deadline Rumble on April the 29th. He is also seemingly a part of the Nuclear Winter Show coming up December the 17th, where you can find out more information on NSO Wrestling UK on Instagram, also Nonstop Action Wrestling on YouTube, Facebook Nonstop Action Wrestling, and NSO_Rest UK. Chris, my friend, I want to thank you as always for being with us. I look forward to having you on here very soon, and we'll see what happens. I think you're going to be a big part of things in the coming future on Nonstop Action. And also, good luck as well, December the 3rd. Maybe we'll get you on before that. We'll certainly see. But thank you as always, my friend.
Thank you very much, mate. Take care.
All right. And that was Chris Murphy here, pro wrestling star. And let's bring him on right on cue. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, he has been the talk of the professional wrestling world. 2 weeks ago at this time here on Sportswire Radio, he told us that he had a plan. He told us it was all going to happen. He told us he was going to wipe off Gareth Angel off the face of the earth. And boy, he called his own shot. He did it. In America, there was the likes of Joe Namath who did that, Mark Messier. But you know what? He topped all of them and some, because he's got the most valued prize in all of professional wrestling. He's got the championship that those, listen, The Rock, Roman Reigns, you name them, CM Punk, John Moxley, MJF, they only wish that they could have this championship. So let's bring him in. And with that, further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one, the Levels One Show, the reigning, defending GTM Heavyweight Champion of the World, Disciple. The champ is here. Champ, congratulations.
Cheers, Tom. We done it. We said we were going to do it, and we did it. We did it in style. We done it, Tom. I told you we'd do it.
I tell you what, you called this. You know what? I've had on a lot of people on Sportswear. I've had on politicians. I've had on professional athletes. I've had on world champions like yourself. But nobody, in almost 4 years I'm doing this, and it runs the gauntlet. I've had on the who's who of people, right? I've never had somebody literally call their own shot in you. I mean, you did something. I'm trying to think in history, even in wrestling history, that what you did. I mean, listen, you have to talk about it and basically set the tables for those that are watching and listening on Sportswire Radio and how it feels to now be the GTM heavyweight champion of the world.
It feels long overdue, Tom. It feels long overdue. I've deserved this title for a long time now, and I've wanted this title for a long time now. I said, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do to Gareth Angel. We've not heard from him or seen from him since that event. When I looked out into the crowd, all I could see was the shocked faces, the angry faces at me. I don't know why anyone was shocked or angry, because I said what I was going to do. I told everyone what I was going to do. I was going to get rid of Gareth Angel, and that's exactly what I've done. No one's heard from him or seen from him since.
Well, we're going to certainly get to that because I do have actually an update, an injury update on Gareth Andrew from management. So I will certainly read that out in a few minutes. Plus, a couple of other news notes that you might want to hear. But first comment is Disciple looking gold to gold. I have to notice that you look totally different. Now, usually I get you on. We got the T-shirt on. We got the shoulders ripped out. But you look almost now like a new person, almost like you look like a world champion now. I mean, I have to say, I've had on different people, Tommy Dillon when he held the title, and Johnson and Angel himself, but you look like right now almost like a totally different man. Do you feel different right now as champion? I mean, you must feel like that. You must be getting requests from all over the world to speak with you right now.
Tom, I'm on top of the world. Listen, I've been after this for a long time now. We've done it. I said I was going to do it. It feels good to be champ. And I've said on socials, everyone's probably seen it. I'm a fighting champion. I run my mouth, but I can also back it up with my mouth, and I back it up with my fists as well. At the end of the day, I deserve this title. This title is now mine. I'm not letting go of it. I'm holding it real tight. I'm not going to let it go. So if anyone does think that they can take it off me, as Tommy Dillon says, step up.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I was obviously watching the show. I was watching the match, and obviously you were able to certainly unleash some damage on Gareth Andrew that I don't think anybody I've seen do. But even after the match, and we saw what you did to him after the match, and some might say, oh, well, was it necessary? Was it enough? I mean, talk to me about after the match and the damage that you unleashed to Gareth Angel. What did that make you feel, and what's going on through your mind when you're doing that after the match?
The way I saw it, Gareth is a virus. He's been a virus in GTM for a long, long time. Now, just like COVID, I am the vaccination to get rid of the disease that is Gareth Angel. So I saw my opportunity. When I knew that I had him beat, I saw he was still lying down on the floor. That wasn't good enough for me. I needed more. I needed to get rid of Gareth Angel. And that's what I done.
Let me ask you a follow-up question on that, because I was curious after hearing those different things, and certainly I'll get to the injury update on Gareth Angel from management. I'll also get to a wrestler that also has a thought or two that he's giving me a message he would like to relay to you. But when you did what you did after the match, or even during the match, and was it maybe also inspired in a way because you saw the fact that Jack Johnson wasn't able to hold on to the title as long, or even other opponents that had, as you said, step up to Gareth Angel, and they weren't really able to have that much success? In a lot of ways, did you watch maybe how Jack Johnson wasn't able to hold the title with Gareth Angel, or how other wrestlers on this show especially called out Gareth Angel, and really they couldn't back up what they said? They just basically, their action was all BS. I mean, any thoughts to that?
Yeah, listen, I mean, people can come in and they can talk the talk, but it's whether you can back it up. And the thing is, I run my mouth. I know I run my mouth, but the thing is, I can back it up. And as I said in the last time that we spoke, Tom, this has been planned for a long, long time. I'm not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. So if I do anything, I make sure that I go in with a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and then a backup plan from that. So I knew exactly what I was doing when I was doing it.
Certainly fair points. And let me get to Alexander Brown. And Alex says, I was there. Crowd was ready to riot after that match. Was a demolition job. I mean, did you feel that way? But did you have to run out the back door in Bradford? Did you have to go find a way to did you have the chair still in your hands, maybe to make sure nobody would get you out there at the Fountains Church? I mean, that's a fair point that Alex makes.
Well, let me put it this way. That chair will be going everywhere with me now, because Alex is absolutely right. There was a lot of angry people in that crowd. A lot of the Angel Army were there ready to try and to lynch me. But listen, I'm much cleverer than that. I'm not going to throw myself in with the wolves. I'm not stupid. So, I took a different exit out.
Well, I'll tell you this. Compared to everybody else that has had Gareth Angel in their mouth, his name in their mouths, it's certainly Disciple certainly did it much more methodically. He had a much better plan, and clearly he was successful because he holds the most valued prize in all of professional wrestling, which is the GT Ministries Championship. And of course, if you like what you hear from GT Ministries and want to see GT Ministries in the ring, you can go to GT Ministries UK and Disciple as well. Please also make sure you follow Disciple. Disciple is on Facebook at Disciple Professional Wrestler. You can also catch him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Disciple Wrestler is on Instagram where you can find out more information. Also, disciplewrestler.bigcartel.com. Get that Wrecking Crew shirt. Because if you don't get that Wrecking Crew shirt, you saw what he did to Gareth Angel, he may come to your house and do the same thing. So make sure you get that shirt because I'm telling you, it is the rage, it is the talk of the shopping and the fashion world. Holiday season's coming. What would make a better holiday gift than your Disciple Wrecking Crew shirt? That's why you go to disciplewrestler.bigcartel.com. But management has given me news on Gareth Angel, which I'd like to share with you and get your thoughts on it because you are the champion. You are the man that certainly was last in the ring with him. So the official line from management here is that Gareth Angel, the former two-time GT Ministries World Champion, has suffered a severe concussion, is on the shelf indefinitely with no timetable for his return. So that is the official line here. Severe concussion, no timetable for his return when it comes to Gareth Angel, the former champion. I mean, what's your reaction and thoughts on that?
That's a shame. Terrible shame. Awful thing to happen.
All right, so basically, we'll see if he comes back one day. Basically, that's pretty much what your thoughts are.
I'll be waiting for him. If Gareth Angel is stupid enough to want to even come back to GTM, to even come back into wrestling, and even want to go against me, I'll do exactly the same thing. But this time, I'll make it worse. I'll finish the job indefinitely. I'll make sure that he doesn't come back into a wrestling ring. He doesn't deserve to be in a wrestling ring, and I proved that last week.
And certainly the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, seems to be very supportive because he puts in bold, in caps locks, "This man is my hero." There are a lot of people out there, by the way, that did take shots at Gareth Angel that they were probably cheering for you behind. I mean, there are probably people out there. The lawman, Kyle Kennedy, might be one of them. I mean, certainly you do have fans out there that I think there are people just as much as they like Gareth Angel, but there are people like the lawman Kyle Kennedy who might have a point. Maybe, I don't know, but he says that you're his hero. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Listen, the guy obviously knows and has a lot of respect for me, and he was obviously on the same path that I was when it comes to Gareth Angel, the false prophet, the Messiah, whatever he wants to be called. I laid those stupid names to rest.
Let me ask you a question, though, and I'm curious your thoughts on it, because I had Chris Murphy, and we were talking about Tommy Dillon, and I'm not going to compare titles for a second, but he made an interesting point, which might kind of relate to how you've just gotten the title, as we're here with the GT Ministries World Champion here, Disciple, certainly his first word since he has basically wiped off Gareth Angel indefinitely here in GT Ministries in the face of the earth for time being. But Chris Murphy had said to Tommy Dillon that he's got a target on his back and he won't be able to hold the title, and he's certainly kind of cracking under pressure because Kyle Kennedy actually beat him for the title in Nonstop Action Wrestling. And I'm curious because there's some would say that, well, Gareth Angel was always able to come back. Look at what Maverick Matt Williams had said about him. Look at what Rarebit, even some guy Goliath in the past, and the Metal God Alex Boylan, Jack Johnson, the former champion. And he was able to get in one even those people and even up the score. I mean, do you feel that there will be a target on your back, and how would you deal with that if there will be a target on your back? Well, let me get your thoughts on that.
I mean, I'm always ready for a fight, and I know exactly what comes with being a champion. When you're a champion of any promotion, of any sport, you're the number one guy, and then you're the only guy that's there that people want to overthrow to become the new guy. And listen, I've been fighting for a long time. I've been fighting all my life. I am ready for anybody that wants to step toe-to-toe with me, and I'll show exactly what I'm capable of.
Do you feel like also, and I'd asked you this question 2 weeks ago, and I'll ask it again because now you actually hold the gold. Do you also feel like because you've had experience as a world champion, you've had experience as being a tag team champion, you've done all the things you've done, whether it's movies, main events, being in the ring with the Knight family, it's a long list of things you've done. Do you feel like also that those experiences also make you kind of, in a way, keep that title or know what to do now that you've gotten the title?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd say I'm more seasoned. I'm more of a veteran than I was when I was first heavyweight champion. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I've picked up a few lessons as well. So yeah, I'm fully ready for this. And listen, if I didn't feel like I was going to be a good enough champion, I wouldn't go to the lengths that I did to become champion.
I'm thinking about it in wrestling history, and I'm thinking about when we see a title change like this. And there's really very, very few instances I can think of where we see a title change hands in such a drastic, almost one sided, basically, way the champion took the title. Maybe, I guess, Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan might be one that comes to mind. Um, I guess for whatever reasons, I guess you might want to say maybe Rob Van Dam when he lost simultaneously the ECW and the WWE World Championship. That might be one that comes to mind. But there was some politics that kind of went as to why he lost those titles. But there really, in wrestling history, really isn't too many instances where it's such a one-sided, such a dominant performance. And that's what Disciple did here. And I think Sarah Brown pretty much captured what I just said here. I feel sorry for the next wrestler in the ring with him. Was a bloodbath against Angel. I mean, it was I have to say, I mean, I thought that you had a very good shot to win. I thought that what you said here on Sportswire Radio was really impactful, but I didn't know Disciple it was going to be that one-sided. I mean, I don't think though you'd feel sorry for whoever else steps in the ring with you now.
No, listen, I think what Gareth did stupidly was he underestimated me, like a lot of people will do. They will underestimate me, and this is why I've said before, I've said it time and time again, I've always got a plan for everything, and I've always got a backup plan. I knew exactly what I was doing going into that match, and I knew exactly where I wanted to be.
Let me ask you a question, and I'll get to a wrestler who has something to say towards you in a second, and I'll get to that, but we have a show coming up here next Saturday, sold out here, sold out, but SOLD. I'm sure it'll be sold out, but it's called Sold Out. I mean, you have any thoughts on that card? Will you be there? Anything that you might want to add towards Sold Out next Saturday at the Fountains Church there in Bradford?
Well, I'm a GTM heavyweight champion. I think it's only fair that I represent and I be there as part of my brand, my company, my title, my champion being there. I'm going to be there. What I'm not happy with is seeing Jack Johnson and Linda being in the main event. What's that all about?
I
The
was gonna,
heavyweight
it's
champion.
funny you said that. I was gonna ask you about that. What did you make of that? That whole thing there with Jack Johnson and certainly Linda and everything else that's going on there with that. I mean, what do you make of that? I almost have to ask you that.
It's a joke, is what I make of it, Tom. It's an absolute joke. I am the GTM heavyweight champion.
Does that sell tickets, you think, at all? Does that sell tickets?
I can barely sell a chocolate bar. I won't even sell any tickets. I am the GT Ministries heavyweight champion. I should be main event every single damn show. I know exactly what I'm capable of. But I will be there in attendance next week. And if I haven't got a match on the card, then I might just cause some havoc in my own way.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I heard what I just heard here, that if Disciple's not on the card, he'll be there anyway. And if we saw what happened to Gareth Angel, if you get in Disciple's way, all I'm going to say is you better run the other way, because we saw what happened to Gareth Angel. Disciple may do that to you and some. And this time, you may never have a career again. Management, though, has responded. They've tuned in here, and they would like to address you. They say we can clearly see that the bar has been raised with Disciple. The aggression, the dominance, we know the GTM championship will be elevated even higher in the coming months. Do you feel the same way as well, that the title has been elevated, certainly over the next even, 2 weeks since you've been champion? I mean, do you feel that you've already elevated the title?
Absolutely. Everyone is talking about the GT heavyweight champion now. Everyone has been talking about GTM more so than that bloody BBC documentary. Listen, when you get Disciple as your heavyweight
You
champion,
should have been on that documentary. There's no question about that.
there we go. Listen, when you get your Disciple as your GTM champion, when you get Disciple as heavyweight champion, I am money, I am media, and I am talked about.
I'll tell you what, when I bring Disciple on each and every time on Sportswire Radio, people come out of the woodworks. People want to talk. People want to hear what the champion has to say. That's why we've delivered him here on Sportswire Radio. And if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, please continue to give us a like on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can listen to all of our great content on sportnarium.com/player. And I want to thank management here from GT Ministries to allow us to cover here at GT Ministries. And again, GT Ministries UK on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, GT Ministries has it covered. And we are here with the reigning, defending GT Ministries World Champion Disciple. His first words since he has won that championship from Gareth Angel. And Gareth Angel has not been heard nor seen since. And I don't think we're going to be seeing him anytime soon. So certainly the champ is here. He has spoken and some. And I want to break this to you, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Disciple, because we received a message from Bentley before we went on the air. And Bentley, by the way, you have a history with, by the way. You were basically in the main event with Bentley earlier in the year in GT Ministries. He wants a microphone. He wants to come on Sportswire Radio. Obviously, you and him have had a segment even together. You guys have pretty much been one of the premier feuds, one of the top feuds in all of professional wrestling. You guys are almost like Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley in a way, but he wants to come back onto Sportswire Radio. Before Sold Out, he wants to address all the fans of GT Ministries, and he also wants to address you. So it looks like we're bringing him on to Sportswire Radio, and I wanted to get your reactions to the fact that Bentley is going to come back on next week. He is going to address you, and anything else that's on his mind before Sold Out next Saturday.
Well, it's interesting that he's not had my name in his mouth for a long time, and then lo and behold, I win the GTM Heavyweight Championship, and then all of a sudden, this little worm comes out of the woodwork.
Do you think that maybe he's jealous of you? Do you think that in a twisted way he wishes it was him? Or do you think that he sees an opportunity here maybe to, I don't know, say something to you or go toe-to-toe with you? I mean, what do you think of that?
Like you said, Tom, when you're GTM champion, when you're heavyweight champion, when you're the number one guy, people will come after you. Bentley's trying to seize his moment. He's trying to take his shot. He's trying to take his chance. And do you know what? If I was in his place, I'd do the exact same thing. If he wants to call me out, let him call me out. But this time, I'm a different person than what I was when I fought at the main event a few months back.
Listen, I think you're even a different person than when I just spoke with you 2 weeks ago. I feel like in a lot of ways, you were very much like you laid back. You said you things, but now I look at you. I look at this man, ladies and gentlemen. He really looks like a different person. He looks like a different champion. He acts like a champion. He looks like a champion. He talks like a champion. But most importantly, he is a champion. And that's why his name is Disciple. And look at that championship. I have to say, Disciple, the championship does look good on you, by the way. I have to say, you do look like a champion. You look like the GTM champion.
I am the GTM champion, Tom. This bad boy, is staying with me for a long, long time.
Let me ask you another question, another wrestler, because obviously the wrestler that would also come to mind that might be somebody that's worthy of an opponent, because we know that Jack Johnson is kind of mired in this whole thing with Linda Maslin, and obviously Linda's obviously been our director at GT Ministries and the church itself, and I'll let them sort itself out. And something tells me we'll hear both of them speak, I think, very soon. But, I mean, Rarebit. I have to ask you on Rarebit. Rarebit right now is a guy that you've been in the ring with, you have some experience with, and he does have a lot of momentum right now, and he's a champion in another promotion. Is Rarebit somebody that you're paying attention to at all in any way, or does Rarebit at all concern you, or talk to me about your thoughts on Rarebit?
Doesn't concern me. Is he a great wrestler? Yes. Is he very dominant? Yes. I've absolutely been keeping an eye on him. He won the Stairway to Heaven ladder match.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah, I was obviously there at the show, and I watched that match. And yeah, I've been paying close attention to him, and I've been looking afar by Red, and I'm certainly going to try and keep him at arm's length for the time being.
Let me ask you this question. We have about 15 or so minutes here with Disciple. We're very gracious for the time that he's given us here. And we're on Sportswire Radio. And again, please continue to support GT Ministries in any way possible that you can. GT Ministries UK for all the things that the church does outside of wrestling. I still think it's important, obviously, with the holiday season, anything that we can do to support the church, and obviously with help with the needy and the homeless and everything else. GT Ministries as a whole, as an organization, still does those things. Let's please continue to support them. But I wanted to ask you this question now that you've won the title, and I'm curious your thoughts on it and if you've thought about it at all. And what would you do differently to keep the title, let's say, longer than Jack Johnson or even Gareth Angel did most recently? What would you want to do differently that those two didn't do with the title?
I think they took it for granted. Again, I think they were very quick and easy to run their mouth and underestimate their opponents, and that's, I think, what Gareth did exactly that. After the last event before I won the title, Gareth had an interview with Blue Glasses Girl, and he pretty much put me to one side and said that he was going to beat me, and then he was going to go on to the next person and beat them. And I think it's that they underestimated, or Gareth definitely underestimated me and what I'm capable of.
All right, I think that's a fair point, and certainly that was a point that was made when we had you on 2 weeks ago. But let me get to Ben Hall, who's with us. Ben, of course, is our ring announcer in GT Ministries, does a phenomenal job, and he's got pipes like no other. And Ben says, I can't condone what you did to my best friend, but Disciple versus Bentley, Disciple versus Franco Varga, who, by the way, I believe is coming back to the UK very soon, Disciple versus Priscilla, Disciple versus Sean Only, Disciple versus Martin Grant, Disciple versus Jack Johnson, Disciple versus Rarebit, Disciple versus the Metal God Alex Boylan. The main event scene at GTM is next level. I mean, GTM's got the talent like no other company, and we've got a roster that's like, again, I think it's second to none. I mean, what's your thoughts on what Ben Hall had to say and just some of the competition that you could possibly be in the ring with for your championship here over the next several months?
I think that's a perfect example of the amount of great talent that is at GTM. And another great example of why I'm champion. When you're champion, you're better than every single one of those people that have been mentioned. I've been in the ring with a number of them. One person in particular, Priscilla. I've actually worked with Priscilla many years ago down south. And that's another person I'm looking forward to working with and smashing in the face very soon.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, certainly when I think about the reigns of Jack Johnson and Gareth Angel and Gareth Angel's 2 runs, I don't think that the competition that Disciple could potentially stack is nowhere near what those guys could have wished they would have had the competition that Disciple has. And Disciple's going to still knock them all down. That shows you right now the run and the mindset that Disciple is on. And before I come back to Ben, let me get to Alexander Brown. Look, this guy is going to sell tickets. GTM landed on its feet with Disciple. Upset the locker room. Everyone had better up their game, or there's going to be destruction each and every time he sets foot in the ring. Something tells me, though, champ, that I don't think you're really too worried about the locker room right now.
No, listen, we've got a great bunch of guys. There's some great talent there. And I'm looking forward to fighting each and every single one of them. I'll even defend my title against each and every single one of them, because I know that each and every single time I'm going to come out your GTM champ.
I'll tell you what, that's why you need to go to Disciple Wrestle on Instagram. You also need to go to BTP_Disciple on Twitter, Disciple Pro Wrestler, Disciple Wrestler on YouTube and Facebook. Continue to support this man. Also, please buy a shirt because he will kill you if you don't buy one. DiscipleWrestler.BigCartel.com. And certainly, he looks like a champion. He talks like a champion. He is a champion, and he feels like one. Let's make sure that we continue to support those that support us here on Sportzwire Radio, and then just Disciple. Ben also has to say, Angel didn't underestimate you. You smashed his head in with a steel chair. His wife and children are heartbroken. I hope it was worth it. I mean, some people do say, though, that it's by any means necessary to be a champion. Is that kind of how you felt, or any thoughts to what Ben had to say about his wife and children? He does have a young family. Anything you think on that?
Yeah. It was worth it. It was worth it, baby, to get this title right here. I said exactly what I was going to do. I told everybody I was going to smash Gareth Angel. I said I'd do whatever it takes to become GTM champion, and that is exactly what I done.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I would be afraid, very afraid right now, because Disciple has spoken. Disciple has said he has no regrets, no remorse. He doesn't matter to him about what happened or anybody else that may think of him, because he has put Gareth Angel away for a very, very long time. And GT Ministries, as I continue to point out, will never be the same here. And certainly, Disciple looks like a champion, as I continue to say. Champ, I know you're a busy man. I know you have a lot on your plate, but I wanted to ask you this question now that you're the champion. And is there any goals that you have as GT Ministries champion? Is there anything that you'd like to achieve that now that you're the champion?
Yeah. Now I've got a taste for gold. I want more.
You want more? Is where would you like more gold, or would it be in GT Ministries? I mean,
Well, I mean, I like to play around a little bit. I'm not sticking my finger in one pie only. I like to taste a lot of pies. Ensor is just around the corner. I can see they've put me on the Nuclear Winter poster without it even speaking to me. They haven't asked me if I want to be in a match. Listen, if I'm going to go to Ensor, Nuclear Winter, they better put up a good match for me for the GTM champion to come there.
So let me ask you this question, because it's an interesting question, and I'm going to bring up now Nonstop Action Wrestling while we have a few more minutes with you. I mean, you are the champion there. I mean, would you expect to be in the main event of Nuclear Winter? Would you expect to be in the ring with anybody in particular? I mean, what do you think of that?
GTM champion, you're going to go into other companies. You're there as one of the best guys from another promotion. I expect if they put me on the poster, they clearly want to sell tickets using my beautiful face, using my name. They want to sell tickets. So if you want to sell tickets, the only way to do that is by putting me in the main event. Now, Ensor haven't even contacted me about whether they need me on that show, whether they want me on that show, which I think is disrespectful.
But why would they put you on a poster and not contact you? I mean, that sounds like they disrespected you almost a bit. Is that Joshua Snow continuing? I mean, we had Chris Murphy on, and basically we had the same thing that he said, basically, that he felt a little bit disrespected by management. I mean, are you intentionally, you think, being disrespected by management, or?
Quite possibly. I mean, I know I've called them out a few times, which they haven't liked. But listen, if they want to use my face, they need to make it worth it for me to be on that show.
And Michael Knowles, who's going to be there, says, yeah, I noticed him on the poster. I was like, wait, is he going to be at the event? I mean, so you're saying you weren't contacted or notified at all with your name to be shown. Is that copyright infringement? Is that legal?
Well, I'll give them a little bit of time to respond. If they don't respond, then I'll certainly be taking action.
Okay, that'll certainly be, I don't think that'll be legal action. I think you'll just be the guy to show up and just beat the hell out of everybody there. So certainly, and the lawman Kyle Kennedy seems to agree. He says, see what I mean? Ensor has a certain agenda. It's not just me. And you're the champion. You're the world champion, arguably one of the biggest promotions in the world. And if you're not contacted, that does sound a little bizarre to me. That sounds a little bizarre to me. I mean, and you also mentioned gold, and I have to also bring this up because I know that obviously you're a busy man. You're the champion of GT Ministries. You're coming here to Nonstop Action Wrestling again. But I mean, Joshua Snow a couple of weeks ago announced the fact that there's going to be a new championship in Nonstop Action Wrestling, the Northern Division Championship. And you're the guy that has traveled all over the world and wrestled. I mean, do you feel that they should maybe just hand you that championship or just give that to you on a silver platter? And I mean, what do you make of that championship? I know Tommy Dillon, I'm sure, is somebody that you feel confident you could probably take down at any given time, but it seems like everybody there is just basically called their shot toward him, and he even lost the title to Kyle Kennedy himself. I mean, you have any thought on them basically announcing this new title called the Northern Division Championship?
Well, firstly, let me say that Tommy Dillon is a great wrestler. I think he's been a great champion for Ensor, and yeah, he's got a target on his back as well, and that's another piece of gold that I'm after to add to the collection. But with this new Northern Division title, I'll take anything. I'd like to think myself as a bit of a belt collector, so that's what we're going for.
Hey, but at this point, you could have both Ensor titles. You could have the GT Ministries Championship, and any other company that you desire to step foot in, you'll hold those championships, because after what I saw you did to Gareth Angel, I don't think anybody should want to step in the ring there with you. That's all I'm going to say about it. So if I was a wrestler and they're on the card with you, what I would do is just make sure you go the other way. Just get yourself counted out. Don't even bother. Or if you have to show up because you're contractually obligated to, just roll on the floor and let Disciple put his boot on you and count 1, 2, 3. Maybe if you're lucky, you can roll out of the ring and he won't put his foot, or that spine buster, which, by the way, the best spine buster in the business is Disciples. And we got to see it up close and personal against Gareth Angel and anybody else. So if I'm Ensaw, if I'm Joshua Snow, do the right thing. Put this man in the ring. Contact him, because I'm telling you, if he's going to be out there, he's going to lay waste to anybody that's there. He very well could be holding some gold, some more gold in non-stop action wrestling. Champ, I know you're a busy man. I know you have a lot on your plate. You got interviews, you've got autograph signings, you've got this, that, and everything else in between that you have to get to. You probably have another interview, another autograph signing to get to here in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you the floor. I wanted to give you some closing thoughts and anything else you want to share, anything else you want to say to anybody coming next Saturday. It's a sold out at the Fountains Church in Bradford, or final words to anybody else. Angel, his family, I don't know, anybody else you want to throw out there. Also, anything else you want to plug, share, say, and Champ, the floor is yours and fire away.
Thank you, Tom. Firstly, I want to say thank you to you. You're my number one guy, my number one supporter. I told you that we were going to do this. You supported me along the way. We've done this together.
I don't know. Oh, you did it. I'm a fan of yours. I love you, but you did it. You basically called your own shot. I'm not going to take any credit for it because you did it. I love all our wrestlers that come on Sportswire Radio, but you certainly did it. You did it. I could not have done that, but you did that, and congratulations to you, certainly, for sure.
Thank you. To Gareth Angel and his family, get well soon. Better luck with And what I would say is keep an eye on the socials. For anybody that wasn't at GTM and didn't see my amazing victory and what I did to Gareth Angel, I will be sharing that match very, very soon. So you can watch it a million times with to your heart's content, and you can watch me smash Gareth Angel over the head with a steel chair time and time and time again, and hear that sweet crushing sound. And it was amazing.
I'll tell you what, we look forward to that. But before we get out of here, Nonstop Action Wrestling, you have definitely put them on notice because they have responded. So let me give you their comment so you can hear it. Evening, gentlemen. Disciple, we do apologize for the lack of communication. We have a way we can rectify this. Once this interview ends, please see the contract we've sent to your email inbox. Does that satisfy you at all when we get off the air in about a couple of minutes or so? Or is there anything else you might want from Ensaw?
It depends what they say. It depends in what capacity they want me. But if they want the GTM heavyweight champion, they're going to have to pay a pretty price for my face.
So would it be fair to say that your legal team, your team of lawyers, might want to look at that contract after you get it from management, and they'll have to review it first before you make a decision?
I can check it over. I know what I'm looking for.
Fair enough. I mean, you are a big man. You are a deadly man. I mean, so if you want to make a decision, I'm certainly not going to get in the way of that. So there's no question. If you do want to make that decision, I don't think a lawyer or an accountant or anybody else is going to stop you. You're just going to do it. So certainly, if I'm management, we certainly look forward to seeing how that all develops. And again, Nonstop Action Wrestling, Ensaw Wrestling UK on Instagram. Ensaw_Rest UK on Twitter as well. Nonstop Action Wrestling on YouTube, Facebook as well. Nonstop Action Wrestling Universe on their group as well. Please support them. Also, GT Ministries UK on all of their socials. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at this point. I think LinkedIn even is on GT Ministries. So go all that. Saturday, I will be watching. Doors open 7:30 p.m. Bentley will be back on at some point, I'm sure, to talk about a lot of the things that we have to say. We'll make the announcement tomorrow on a day and time with the Vigilante of Pro Wrestling. But in the meantime, we were joined here with the reigning, defending GT Ministries World Champion Disciple in his first words since he wiped Gareth Angel off the face of the earth for the time being, who is now out officially with a severe concussion. He is out indefinitely. And also one more comment from Michael Knowles. If he goes to Nuclear Winter, that would be great to see him. Well, Michael, you know you're going to be there. There might be a possibility that Disciple is going to be there, and that is in about 6 weeks or so from now, so time is definitely flying. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening here on the number one Global Radio Station. If you're on sportnarium.com/player, you'll go back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're here with us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn, we'll be back here Friday as well. Tomorrow night, we'll also be here with pro wrestling stars Wildfire Nate Reese and the Scenario Nathan Gunn to get us ready for Saturday's LWF show, which both of them will be on the card. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in here. Thank you to the champion, Disciple Wrestle on Instagram. That has all his links to his socials. Disciple.bigcartel.com for the shirt. Get that shirt. I'm telling you, you better get that shirt. Please do so. Thank you, everybody, here for tuning in on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio. I am the Reverend Tom Bryce. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Also, thank you to Chris Murphy of Nonstop Action Wrestling, who also came on here. Good night, everybody.